Here we are, November 2025. Dr. Stephen Nicholas, best orthopedic guy in the whole world, and we're talking about downhill skiing. Tell us about how to avoid ACL and MCL tears, and could you define this for our readers, please?
Well, the ACL and the MCL are those two ligaments that hold the bones together. One of them prevents it from going side to side, and one prevents it from going front to back. And when you ski, you get tremendous forces across the knee, and if you twist, you catch an edge, you torque the knee, and you can tear those ligaments. So the best way to take care of this is, number one, have the strength to tolerate what you're trying to do. So you get fatigued toward the end of the day, your muscles get weak, you can't control your edges, and you have a higher instance of injury. The other thing is the conditions. If it gets slushy at the end of the day, you can more easily catch an edge. Be aware of the conditions. A lot of people ski toward the end of the day, it gets a little bit hotter and a little bit more slushy, and those patients can tear their knee up. So keep your legs strong, avoid conditions that are not conducive to really smooth skiing.
Can you tell us about how people should grip their ski poles, like skier's thumb? Is this something in orthopedics?
So yeah, skier's thumb implies when you're gripping your pole and you hit something hard, the pole catches and you tear the ligament in your thumb by forcing it out to the side. They make some great ski gloves that have a reinforced metal piece in the thumb.
That can prevent it?
Yes, they can prevent that.
Great. Tell us about other knee injuries that come up with skiing.
Well, one of the more common ones is just knee pain, and you get the knee pain under your kneecap because your muscles are weak. So those are when you're skiing bumps, you're really bending for periods of time, and that's treated by proper stretching and a proper rehab program. People go from not exercising, they exercise all summer, they have September, October, November, they tend not to exercise that much. Then December comes and they go skiing and their muscles are weaker than they should be. So you have to go a pre-ski participation program, really get into the gym and strengthen the quadriceps and the muscles around the knee.
Kind of like being a weekend warrior, right?
Correct.
What skiing techniques should people use to optimize their orthopedic health?
I don't know if there's any specific technique I would use. We've gone through some of the things you should avoid, and that's what I would focus on. And also, know your limits. We have people who are intermediate skiers who go to these black diamonds and try to ski these black diamonds because they think it'd be cool, and they find themselves going down these bumps and they can't handle them. So knowing your limits is probably the best technique right now.
Yeah, ego management, maybe.
Yes.
How do you know if you pull a muscle or need to rest, or if you have a real problem?
Well, it'll be hard not to know if you pull a muscle, it'll be pain, but usually anything within the joint is more of a significant issue. Something in the mid-belly of the muscle or things like that, or more likely muscle strains and sorenesses which go away. Anything in the joint itself, the knee joint, the wrist joint, the hip joint, the ankle, those are things you got to get checked out.
Now, we've been talking about downhill winter skiing today. What would you say about cross-country skiing? Is there anything there that we should think about?
Cross-country skiing much safer. The one thing you have to be worried about is your cardiac condition too. When you go to cross-country skiing, you're out in the cold and you haven't done any exercise, and now you find yourself 2 miles into the cross-country track and you've got to get back. Make sure you're in condition to do these things. And the other thing is making sure you're not catching in grooves and things like that we talked about. Don't torque the knee, because you can still get injured in the cross-country skiing, but it's not as significant because you don't go as fast.
Are there any orthopedic injuries that are temperature related when it's too cold?
Well, frostbite would be number one. It's not really an orthopedic injury. But I think what happens is when it gets slushy at night and in the morning you get really cold weather, those piles of snow tend to become ice, and that's when you can catch an edge. So be very wary of that.
Look where you're going. How about snowboarding for the really extreme participants?
So snowboarding, probably much safer for the knee because the knees don't work independently from each other, but more dangerous for the wrist and the head. So people tend to fall backward, they hit their head. Always ski with a helmet on, and wrist guards would be appropriate for snowboarders.
Do you have any other comments on this topic?
Listen, I think that if you're going to snowboard, you're learning the technique in the beginning. You got to be careful in the beginning. Go down slower mountains. Make sure you understand how to catch an edge, how you can catch an edge, and be cautious in the beginning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.